Thank you. Hi, I'm Amanda Loudin, and I'm reading What Makes a Real Mother. Don't you want to know who your real mother is? That was the refrain I lived with as a kid. My parents adopted me at 3 months old, a fact they readily shared with me and our small-town Ohio community. I felt loved, supported, even special, thanks to my mom and dad. But kids can be cruel, and after the question about my real mother became an accusation, you don't know who your real mother is, I began to feel shame. This discomfort only compounded as I went through the years. I did begin to wish I knew who that real mother was. My mom and I couldn't have been more different, and for an unfortunate string of years, I fantasized about finding that real mom. To my mind, my mother was odd, different from all the other moms, and certainly different from me. She belonged to a book club before book clubs were a thing. She forced on us strict early bedtimes. She gleefully rang the dinner bell for all the neighborhood to hear, beckoning my brother and I inside at 5:30 each and every day. It was embarrassing, and I was embarrassed of her. In elementary school, my mom was a room mother, something that for a time I liked. But when she overstayed her welcome at that gig when she was still at it in the 6th grade, I was probably more than once failed to acknowledge that she was my mom when she came around with the party treats. My mom was the strictest of mothers, from what I could tell, setting outrageous rules around every corner of my life. The content I could and couldn't consume, the clothing I could wear, and as I got older, my curfews were embarrassingly early. My punishments when breaking them, harsher than anyone's. I think I was grounded more often than not. My mom led a quiet, refined existence, mostly indoors. She encouraged me to stay in and play cards, visit with the relatives when they stopped by, or learn to knit and crochet. She played the piano, taught Sunday school, and spent plenty of time in the kitchen. In contrast, I was a wild child, born to run around in the woods, dive into the cool lake where we spent our summers, and jump into every game of football played by the neighborhood boys. My knees were perpetually scabbed, my skin tanned from the sun, my clothes dirty from time in the woods. I wish I could say I always treated my mom well during my teen years, that I wasn't disrespectful, that I didn't yell at her, or that I didn't wish I knew who that real mom was. But that was not the case. I was sure for a time that I knew that if I knew who my real mom was, I'd find a kindred spirit, or at least someone hip and funny. Someone who preferred the outdoors to in, who would allow me to hang out with whoever, whenever. Someone who didn't police my clothing, and who would give me unlimited time on the phone with my friends. She'd let me roam free with no accountability. She'd let me be me. That real mom would have allowed me to strip my walls of their childish wallpaper, turn up the volume on my record player, and only make her presence known to my friends on the rare occasion. That mom was out there, I just knew it. As soon as I turned 18, I was going to look her up. But around the time I went to college, I began to soften the lens I applied to my mom. With a little distance, I missed her, and maybe even started to value all the time and love she invested in raising the obstinate teen I admittedly was. I began to swap books with her, call her regularly from my dorm room phone, and seek out her comforting hugs. I even started turning to her for advice, and as time marched on, I began to appreciate her for who she was. My mom was truly the best of moms. Her rules had reason, her efforts to refine me a purpose, and despite my best rebellious efforts, some of that did stick. A former English teacher, my mom taught me to write well, something I eventually turned into a career. The hours she spent reading to me as a little girl turned into a lifelong passion for books. Mom demonstrated how to develop lasting friendships and community, and most especially gave me goals for how I wanted to parent one day. Her dedication to my father modeled for me what an ideal partnership should look like. Today, when I tell people I'm adopted and that I know nothing about my biological history, more often than not, they still look at me quizzically and ask, "Don't you want to know who your real mother is?" I tell the truth. I do know. She's the mom who loved me from the moment she set eyes on me at 3 months old until the day she died. She raised me thoughtfully and tenderly, and she was the strongest woman I will ever know. She was honest and ethical, as smart as they come, and no matter what the circumstance, I never heard her complain. Her name was Beverly, and I was lucky enough to call her mom.